Yeah, hey everybody, this is Ian from Mindful Marketplace, and welcome back to A Tiny Revolution. This is our brand new publishing platform for creating tiny products that make a really big impact in 2022 and beyond. So this is for those of you who are interested in creating a digital media brand or publishing platform using your own content. It also works for those who are interested in selling affiliate products or other people's products as well. But if you're in that camp, if you're someone who's interested in that stuff, I encourage you to visit our store so you can see some real examples of content that we're creating using this model. Partners.mindfulmarketplace.com. You can see about 25 courses there that I've taught in particular, and some other folks are teaching as well. All right, so I want to share with you what I think is the absolute easiest way of really creating content that you can sell with super speed, or at a minimum using this sort of content to build your list, to establish a client base, or to cultivate a community, either using content that you've already created or content that you can create very, very quickly. So we're going to be doing a series of challenges over the course of April. They're going to be like 1 week challenges for those of you who are interested in doing this process. It's a lot of fun. It's very easy, and there's no gurus or gimmicks or expensive software or services that you need to buy. All right, so essentially, and I've done some videos on this in the past, but I'd recommend that you check out my channel for anything that has title Beacon, Beacon. Beacon is a really phenomenal content creation tool that's ideal for small marketers. There are lots of actually big brands that use Beacon as well, or at least medium-sized brands. But for our purposes, this is really, really the quintessential strategy, especially if you have existing content already. I'm going to do a recording, a video walkthrough of this, but and that's going to be in our private community. But this is enough information that I'm sharing here verbally that you can emulate this exact same approach without watching the video. So essentially, and I believe we pay for Beacon. I actually bought a lifetime license to Beacon a long time ago, but so I don't know how much it costs month to month, but I believe they have a free plan that allows you to do all this stuff without paying a cent. And the guy who runs Beacon, his name is Kevin, very, very nice dude. I don't know him personally, but we've emailed back and forth, a number of times over the last year or two, and a super nice guy. And I know that he's very helpful if you're interested or you have questions about anything I'm about to say about this process. So the essential steps here are you're going to sign up for Beacon if you don't have an account already, and you're going to start by creating lead magnets. And there's a very obvious place there on the splash page within your dashboard where it will tell you, click here to create your first lead magnet. And essentially all you want to do, and it doesn't have to be a lead magnet, by the way, a term of art or marketing sort of, cheesiness that I hate, but essentially it's something that you're using as a way of, enticing or attracting folks to join your list. But you can also use this for a premium product. And certainly this is something that we are doing with a lot of success on our Mindful Marketplace platform. So all you're going to do is you're going to select lead magnet. They're going to give you a series of templates that you can choose from. And these are just the designs that you can apply to the content that you're about to create. And the next steps, you can pick any number of templates. You can see them for yourself and choose the one that matches your brand. You can edit them. You can edit the colors, pictures, fonts, all that stuff. The next step is really the important piece, and it asks you whether or not you want to use some existing content that you already have, or you want to create new content. And for our purposes, we're going to be using content that you already have. And essentially you want to, my dogs are about to bark, so I'm closing the doors, my girlfriend's walking in the house, but essentially you want to take a URL that has content that you've written or published elsewhere, and you want to put it into that box and then hit enter. And essentially what it's going to do is it's going to populate all of the template content that you actually just created using the lead magnet step with the content that you have written elsewhere. And essentially what I like to do, now you have, let's say you have a 3,000 word blog post that you're really proud of, or you have a really good list sort of piece of content that lives on a blog that you've written over the years or you're proud of, or et cetera. And then really at this point, you may be thinking to yourself, like, why would somebody like pay for this content, or why would I package this as a lead magnet or as a giveaway or as an enticement to join my community when they can read it for free? And there's really a couple things here that are critical. Psychologically, I find even in my own life, like if I'm reading a blog post somewhere and the person tells me straight out that you can download this as a PDF simply by joining the list, we've all experienced that. I tend to do that because there's something that's more attractive to me about having a PDF that I can read in many different places than having to, stay on someone's website, for an example. Like I have a Remarkable, which is a great little digital device that I like to read all of my PDFs and that sort of content, ebooks, etc. So, that's a really important sort of driver for me. But the other piece that's really important if you're creating products for a living is you can now add a lot of detail and dimension to the content you have that lives on your blog using the other templates that Beacon offers you. So they have like workbooks, for an example, or resource guides. And these are all templates that you can apply to the document or the PDF that you're now creating. So essentially, you can take that article that may be something you're really proud of and then add a workbook to it. So you can just start asking questions. What's the number one thing that you're going to do? And then again, you're asking this to a hypothetical reader, with the content that, you've read thus far. What's something that you're excited about? What's something that you don't understand about? I mean, you can ask like all these different, like challenge questions or prompts or whatever it may be that actually gives people a lot more value out of the content by simply embellishing and adding details, depth, and dimension to pre-existing content that's going to be formatted really nicely, because Beacon does that beautifully. And when you're done with all this, adding as much or as little as you like to the original document, you can simply publish this as a PDF. They have various types and flavors of PDFs. I prefer the one they call a smart PDF, but again, that's more content that than this sort of audio requires. I'm not going to go into that here, but any PDF format is fine. Just pick the one that you like the best, and then you can download it. You can download it to your local machine, or you can actually have the whole thing reside on Beacon, so in other words, you could download it on your local device or your computer or whatever, and then upload something like this to Podia. That's something that we do at our partners.mindfulmarketplace.com domain. You can see some examples of that there, or you can simply, upload it to Gumroad or Buy Me a Coffee or Etsy or anything like that, and start creating tiny products all the time, especially if you have lots of existing content that you can recycle or repurpose using the method I'm describing here. But you can also run the whole thing on Beacon. So Beacon will actually integrate with your mail autoresponder, your email autoresponder of choice. So if you use like ConvertKit or MailChimp or MailerLite or any of those, they integrate with that really nicely. So you can actually be building your list while, and requiring that people actually sign up for your list to access the lead magnets that you're creating using this method. One of the ironic challenges for me and our business is that we use a email autoresponder that's not supported by Beacon. We use Flowdesk for most of our email goes through Podia, which is the partners.mindfulmarketplace.com platform that runs on Podia. But we also use for other sorts of campaigns something called Flowdesk, which is great. I highly recommend those as well, or them as well. But unfortunately, that's not supported by Beacon. So I've actually asked a number of times to have that supported, but that's not been done as of yet. So I don't use that function feature, that that functionality, I actually turn off the email autoresponder option or the integration, within Beacon, and we just upload these things directly to our LMS or digital storefront software of choice, Gumroad, Podia, WooCommerce, etc., etc. Okie doke. This is really a very, very simple way of building out this sort of digital media publishing business very, very quickly. It will also work, by the way, if you don't have any pre-existing content. You can simply take the strategy that I just outlined and just create the content from scratch within your Beacon account. So you can actually, and I've done this too, you can actually create what they call a flow page and stick that into a template, and then you're using it actually as like a word processor and creating your product on the fly. And again, you can sell these products anywhere, on Etsy, on your own store, a WooCommerce store, any of the popular digital storefront software services that are out there now. The most notable ones are the ones that I've mentioned already, like Gumroad and Buy Me a Coffee and Make Lemonade, or Lemon Squeezy, I think it's called. Podia, we use Teachable, Thinkific. All of those sorts of sites are really great for digital content like this. Okie doke. Hope that's been helpful. If you're interested in joining us for a challenge, where I will actually be walking through this entire process privately in a small cohort and creating a product like this, and so will everyone in the group, you can feel free to join us at the link below. Okie doke. Thank you so much for listening, and as always, have a wonderful day.